Incredible reunion, soldier discovers daughter's hidden fear-touching moment as dog saves day. The sun dipped low over Willow Creek, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink. A block party buzzed with excitement, a cacophony of laughter and chatter swirled with the scent of fresh pies cooling on window sills. Sarah stood at the center of it all, her heart racing in rhythm with the fervor of the homecoming celebration. Today was the day. Her father, a soldier, was finally coming home after what felt like a lifetime away, and the entire town was determined to welcome him back as a hero. Banners made by children fluttered like the wings of butterflies, each one proudly declared, "Welcome home." Yet as Sarah grinned and wiped her brow, something felt amiss. Her gaze swept the gathering and landed on Lily, her 10-year-old daughter. In the chaos, she spotted the small figure leaning against the wall of their modest home, staring at the ground. Once, Lily had joyfully counted down the days until her grandfather's return, but now she had retreated into an unwelcome silence, palpable anxiety etched into her features. Sarah's heart twisted. What was wrong with her little girl? "Lily," Sarah called gently, her voice a soft melody against the booming festivities. But Lily didn't look up. As Sarah prepared to reunite with her dad, she struggled to juggle the weight of her work at the diner and the grocery store, navigating life as a single mother while nurturing this unshakable hope for a brighter future. It was a tough road, one built on determination and embodiment of countless American families striving for more. Around her, neighbors scurried about with pies in hand and chairs ready, each act a testament to their support and love. They were all pulling for this family. But what about Lily? As the clock ticked closer to the hour of reunion, an unrelenting knot tightened in Sarah's chest. Did her daughter feel this hope, or was it overshadowed by a dark fear of abandonment that had taken root with each goodbye? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Suddenly, through the swirling chaos, Max, their loyal golden retriever, caught sight of Lily. With boundless energy, he bounded across the yard, instinctively sensing that something was wrong. He nudged the door with his nose, letting himself inside, and trotted straight to her side. His warm brown eyes shone with understanding, and as he pressed his wet nose against her knee, Lily's gaze softened. The dog knew. In that moment, just as Sarah's father arrived and the crowd erupted with cheers, Max tugged at Lily's heartstrings. Sarah turned to witness the scene. Children clapped and cheered, but amidst it all, her daughter's small figure remained hesitant, hidden from the warmth that surrounded her. Panic seized Sarah again. Were the roots of their family tree strong enough to endure this? Then, through the tension, Sarah's father knelt beside Lily, wrapping her in a soft embrace. With whispered reassurances, he sought to pierce through her veil of fear. But a delicate silence filled the air, and an overwhelming sense of uncertainty hummed between them. The bond of family was strong, but would it be enough to heal her daughter's fear? The room held its breath, waiting for answers, leaving them all at a crossroads that felt incredibly precarious. Lily's eyes glistened as her grandfather enveloped her in warmth, but inside, she felt like a storm was brewing. Max sat beside her, his soft fur a comforting presence. She pressed her palm against his side, finding solace in his steady heartbeat. The cheers echoed around them, but they felt distant, muffled by the whirlwind of emotions swirling through Lily's mind. "Hey, sweet pea," her grandfather said, his voice low and soothing. "I'm here now. No one is going anywhere." He leaned back just enough to look into her eyes, searching for any flicker of reassurance. But instead, he found a flicker of fear. It shattered his heart. He knew Lily had faced more than what her little shoulders should bear. Slowly, Sarah moved closer, her presence a quiet reassurance. "Why don't we all go inside and have some pie?" she suggested, trying to welcome the family back home. "I made your favorite, Dad. And Lily, you'll help us pick out ice cream, right?" Lily nodded but didn't move. Her smile felt heavy, weighed down by worry. As they walked inside, Sarah noticed the subtle way Lily lingered behind. "See Mon, Lily. We've got everything set up," her mother called. But it was clear that Lily was caught in the web of uncertainty spun by her own mind. Inside, Sarah's father sat next to Lily at the table. He reached for her hand, warm and familiar. "When I was away, I thought of you every single day. You were my little sunshine," he said, his voice steady yet full of love. "I missed you so much. But I'm not going anywhere again. I promise." Lily glanced away, biting her lip. "But what if you have to go again?" she whispered, her voice barely breaking free from the surface tension of the room. A heavier silence fell. Sarah caught her breath, a wave of fresh fear washing over her as she wished desperately to wipe away her daughter's worries. Her father's expression shifted, his face softening with understanding. "Listen, Lily. Sometimes we have to be brave. But I promise you, I'll always come back. No matter what. Just like Max here, right?" He gestured to the dog, who sat loyally at Lily's feet, tail thumping softly on the floor. "He's always right there for you. And so am I." Lily tilted her head, as though searching for something in her grandfather's eyes. In that moment, a flicker of hope sparked amidst her fear. Maybe he was right. Maybe things could be different this time. When the pie was served, Lily and Max inched closer together, sharing the warmth of friendship. Laughter and memories started to fill the room, little by little, filling the cracks of doubt. But the doubt still lurked in the corners of Lily's mind, like a shadow refusing to fade. As the night wore on, the block party continued outside, but inside, a different kind of battle was taking place, a battle of understanding, trust, and healing. Sarah watched her father and daughter interact, a mixture of hope and worry bubbling within her. The evening ended with the sound of fireworks bursting in the sky, and for a moment, they all stood together by the window, watching the colorful display. But just as Lily looked up, a flash of light illuminated her grandfather's face, revealing the unspoken fear. The specter of loss still loomed overhead like a distant storm that could arrive at any moment, uninvited and unwelcome. And as she clutched Max's collar tightly, her heart raced with a question that lingered, haunting her thoughts. Could love truly conquer the fear of losing someone again? Did they have the strength to face it together? The fireworks faded into shimmering sparks against the night sky, and as the last boom echoed, Lily felt a weight settle in her chest. The burst of light had been beautiful, but it was fleeting, much like the joy that had just filled the room. Pushing her thoughts aside, she stepped back from the window, the shadows of doubt creeping back into view. "Let us finish our pie," Sarah announced cheerfully, trying to pull the family back into the celebratory spirit. She placed the remaining slices on the table with a flourish, but Lily could hardly muster enthusiasm. Instead, she found herself tracing a finger along the edge of her plate, lost in the swirling patterns of whipped cream. "Can I show you something outside?" Lily heard her grandfather say, his voice warm and inviting. He had noticed the lull in her spirit and, sensing the need for connection, wanted to create a moment just for her. "Right now?" "But it's dark." Lily hesitated, glancing from her grandfather's encouraging smile to Max, who seemed to share her uncertainty. "It'll be okay, I promise," he reassured her. "Just a quick look. It'll be like a little adventure." After a moment's pause, Lily nodded, gathering some courage. With Max trotting faithfully beside her, they followed her grandfather out of the house and onto the quiet street. The block party's music faded behind them, replaced by the soft rustling of leaves and the cool evening breeze. "Do you see those stars up there?" he asked, gesturing towards the sky. "They twinkled like diamonds scattered across a dark blanket. They remind us that even the darkest nights can have light." Lily looked up, squinting her eyes against the vastness. "But sometimes the stars disappear," she replied, her voice small. "Like when it storms." Her grandfather knelt beside her, eye level, a gentle wisdom in his gaze. "That's true, Lily. Storms can come and make it seem like the light is gone. But even after the storm, the stars eventually return. And you'll always have the people who love you to help you through the dark times." Max nudged her leg, as if to say he was there too. A comfort that extended beyond words. Lily's heart softened, a pulse of warmth blooming as she realized her grandfather knew her fears well. What if the storm comes back? She murmured. He hesitated, searching for the right words, aware that his response carried the weight of her uncertainty. "Life is full of storms, little one. But every time, we learn. We grow. And the people we care about are worth facing the storms for." Just then, a loud burst of laughter erupted from the party across the street. The captivating sound drew Lily's attention back toward the festive atmosphere. She felt a tug of normalcy, a reminder that out there, joy still existed. "Do you really think love can beat fear?" Lily asked, her tone soft but filled with a longing for reassurance. "I do," her grandfather answered firmly. "It's powerful, far beyond what we think. It gives us strength we never knew we had." For the first time that night, a true smile danced across Lily's face. She could feel a flicker of light lighting her heart, an inkling that maybe he was right. But deep down, the weight of worry still gnawed at her. As they headed back inside, hand in hand, Lily glanced back at the starry sky. She whispered a quiet promise to herself, that she'd try to be brave, for her family and for Max. But just as they stepped through the door, another loud cheer erupted from the block party. "Look! There they go again!" A voice rang out. "What's happening?" Lily asked, curiosity catching her voice. In that moment, the door swung open wide, and Lily saw a group of kids darting past, their faces alight with excitement. "They're bringing the sparklers!" someone yelled. Lily's heart raced. What if this was the spark of hope she needed? What if this night could still turn? She turned to her grandfather, eyes widening with anticipation. Would she join them? And as the door swung wider, Lily took a deep breath, feeling the warmth of love and fear mixing within her. What would she choose on this evening of possibilities? The moment the door opened wider, a cascade of light and laughter spilled into the dim hallway. Lily stood frozen, excitement battling with trepidation as she watched kids dart about, their sparklers twinkling like fireflies against the dark night. The air buzzed with an infectious energy that made her pulse quicken. "Come on, Lily. Don't just stand there." Max tugged at her clothes, his tail wagging furiously, encouraging her to join in the joy. He seemed to sense her hesitation. "What if I mess up?" she whispered, biting her lip. The thought of holding a sparkler made her spine tingle with both thrill and fear. "Remember what I said about storms?" Her grandfather reminded her gently, stepping closer. "You won't know until you try. Just take it one spark at a time." Lily nodded, summoning her courage. She took a deep breath and stepped outside, the cool air wrapping around her like a reassuring hug. The laughter of the children swirled around her as they danced with their sparklers, leaving trails of light that twisted and twirled in the night. "Lily!" Sarah called out, waving from the edge of the crowd. "Come over here. You need to try this." Her heart raced as she made her way to her sister, crossing the street where the party thrived. The flickering flames illuminated her sister's face, wide with excitement. A small sparkler awaited her in Sarah's hand, glowing like a small beacon of possibility. "Here. Just hold it like this," Sarah instructed, demonstrating how to grasp the thin metal wand. Lily hesitated, watching the bright sparks dance. Would she really be able to do it? But then she felt the warmth from Max rubbing against her leg, an unwavering source of support that whispered encouragement. With trembling fingers, she reached for the sparkler, pulling it gently from her sister's hand. As her thumb grazed the hot end, she jumped back, a yelp escaping her lips. "It's hot. It's okay." Sarah chuckled, her voice comforting and light. "Just don't touch that part. Look at everyone else." With newfound determination, Lily focused on the others. Kids swung their sparklers in circles, leaving trails of light that seemed to paint the air. Laughing, she turned her sparkler upside down, fascinated by how it reacted, shimmering like tiny stars twinkling from her own fingertips. "See?" her grandfather said, pride shining in his eyes. "You're doing it." Lily felt a swell of joy rise within her. Each flick of the sparkler seemed to dissolve her earlier worries, each bright spark chasing away shadows of doubt. Laughter erupted around her as more sparklers ignited, and she found herself caught up in the collective joy of the moment. "Look! I can make a heart!" Sarah shouted, waving her sparkler in sweet, circular motions. "Let me try!" Lily exclaimed, giggling as she mirrored her sister's movements. As her heart curbed all fears, she felt her sparkler draw a radiant heart in the air, glowing against the dark backdrop. A gasp of awe cascaded from the small gathering. A sense of accomplishment swept over her like a warm blanket, and she felt the weight in her chest lighten. Then she turned, eyes glimmering, to see her grandfather watching, a smile as bright as the sparklers behind him. The fear was still there, lurking, but it felt smaller, like a tiny shadow beside the brightness of the night, the warmth of love surrounding her. "See? You're amazing, Lily," he called, just as she let out a joyful laugh. A loud crack echoed from across the street, startling everyone. A sparkler flew off from one child's grip, zipping toward the edge of the lawn where the grass met the road. People gasped as it soared. Lily's heart raced, a moment of panic washed over her. What is going to happen? Her eyes widened as she realized the chaotic moment had triggered something deep within her. It wasn't just the sparklers, but the fear of losing joy in an instant. "Lily!" her grandfather shouted, as the kids scattered. But just then, Max sprung into action, darting toward the errant sparkler, positioning himself directly between the chaos and a nearby toddler, ready to protect. The courage she had found now swirled into something deeper, as she whispered to herself, "I can face this." And in that moment, while laughter mingled with concern, Lily understood that bravery wasn't about never feeling fear. It was about standing strong through the sparks and shadows. But what would she do if everything suddenly went dark in the next heartbeat? The world shifted, the bright laughter of the night faded into a distant hum, and Lily's heart hammered in her chest like a wild beast. She watched Max dart towards the sparkler, his fur glistening in the soft light. Everything felt surreal, as if time froze for just a moment. The bright sparkler sailing through the air, the gasp of the crowd, and her grandfather's voice calling her name. Max!" she shouted, her voice small against the chaos. As the sparkler landed, it sputtered fiercely, sending bright sparks flying. A few kids shrieked and stumbled back, eyes wide with fright. But not Max. He was there, barking fiercely, his figure large and resolute. He seemed to know exactly what to do, positioning himself like a steadfast guardian. Lily felt a rush of admiration and warmth swirl inside her. "He's so brave," she thought, as she grasped her sparkler tighter, needing the glow of light in her hand more than ever. "Lily, back here," her grandfather urged, but she stood frozen, captivated by the determination on Max's face. At that moment, fear transformed into something deeper, a fierce sense of belonging and protection. With wide eyes, she took a small step forward, edging away from her sister, feeling the spark of bravery ignite in her veins. She was not just a spectator anymore. Something inside her shifted as she took in the sight of Max, standing firm, watching over that little toddler who had been mesmerized by the sparkler's shine moments before. "Max! Come back!" Lily's grandfather shouted again, but she found her voice. "Wait! Let him stay!" she pleaded, her heart racing. The image of her dog shielding the child said everything she couldn't articulate. Courage and love intertwined in a faithful act. For a brief moment, the world around her transformed. The gasps turned into murmurs of awe as people witnessed Max's bravery. He barked, nudging the child back towards safety, his deep eyes focused ahead, showing no hint of fear. Lily glanced at the little boy who was now securely tucked behind the safety of a parent's embrace. The sparkler fizzled out, its glow extinguished, but Max remained as if guarding a fortress. It was breathtaking to see such a simple act of bravery. "See, Lily?" Her grandfather stepped beside her, his voice a low murmur. Bravery can look different for everyone, but it shows up in the most unexpected ways. She turned to him, a soft smile breaking through her earlier panic. His words resonated with her, sparking a connection that sent warmth flooding through her veins. In his eyes, she didn't just see a mentor but a cherished lifeline, someone guiding her through the maze of emotions. As Max trotted back, a wag of his tail, the crowd erupted into cheers. The tension melted like ice on a summer day, laughter bubbling back to life. Suddenly, the night felt lighter, the worries of the moment fading. Seeing her dog return, Lily rushed forward, kneeling to hug him tightly. "You did it, Max." She buried her face in his fur, breathing in the familiar scent, feeling a swell of pride. All around, sparks of joy were rekindled as children resumed their games, holding sparklers aloft like constellations. "Thank you, Max," she whispered, her heart full. "You're my hero." But just then, as if on cue, something flickered at the edge of the street. A sudden movement caught her eye. A shadow darted from behind a bush. An uninvited chill spread through her. What was that? She whispered to herself, feeling a tingle of dread despite the laughter that surrounded her, and as if the night had more secrets to unveil, she took a step back, heart pounding again. The shadows seemed alive as the thrumming darkness crept closer. What was lurking in the silence, waiting for its moment to emerge? Lily's heart raced as the shadow shifted again. The laughter around her faded, replaced by a thick silence, as if the world had collectively held its breath. She glanced around, unsure whether anyone else had noticed. The light of the fireworks high above flickered, illuminating the yard in sudden bursts, shaping ominous silhouettes. "Max?" she whispered, the warm confidence of moments ago slipping away. Her brave dog began to trot closer but halted abruptly, lowering his head and sniffing the ground. He whined softly, his ears pricked. "Guys, did you see that?" she managed to say, her voice trembling slightly. But the kids around her were oblivious, lost in their own joy, sparklers waving like tiny stars in the night sky. Ignoring her mounting anxiety, she stepped forward, compelled by curiosity, a sense that somehow she needed to investigate. "Just a bush," she assured herself, chasing away the echo of fear in her mind. Then, with a rush of movement, something darted again. The shadow bolted from the bush across the street, and a figure emerged, a young girl, maybe no older than 5, with tear-streaked cheeks and wide frightened eyes. "Help!" she cried out, her voice piercing through the night. Time stood still. "Wait!" Lily's instincts kicked in. She felt a surge of protectiveness towards this stranger. "Where's your family?" The child stumbled forward, trembling. "I don't know, I lost them." Max, sensing the urgency, barked and rushed to the little girl's side, his warm presence instantly comforting. Lily knelt down, eye level with the frightened child. "It's okay. You're safe now," she assured, rubbing the girl's back gently, her own worries forgotten in an instant. "Stay calm. We'll find them together," she promised, glancing around anxiously. Families were still reveling in the festivities, unaware of the little one's plight. The world felt both vibrant and chaotic, a shifting kaleidoscope of freedom, yet here was a child, lost and afraid. "Can you tell me your name?" Lily asked with a soft smile, hoping to ease the fear in the young girl's eyes. "Emma," she murmured, glancing at Max, who had now settled beside her, his big brown eyes reassuring. "Okay, Emma. My name's Lily, and this is Max. We're here to help." "But how?" Lily's mind raced as she surveyed the scene, scanning the crowd for anyone familiar who might be searching for this little girl. Then she spotted a woman in the distance, scanning the area, clearly frantic. "Mom!" Emma suddenly cried out, eyes lighting up as she recognized the figure. The woman rushed towards them, fear and relief etched on her face. Max stood protectively in front of Lily and Emma, his tail wagging furiously. As the woman reached them, she sank to her knees, pulling Emma into her arms. "I thought I lost you," she cried, holding her tightly. Lily felt a swell of both joy and bittersweet emotion. She watched as the reunion unfolded, the mother's love flowing freely amidst joyful gasps. But alongside that joy was the pang of understanding the fear of losing someone you loved. "You were so brave, Emma," Lily said softly, stepping back to give the family space. "Thank you," Emma called back over her shoulder, bright eyes shining with gratitude even through the remnants of tears. As the crowd began to stir again, the laughter returned, but for Lily, it was different this time. She carefully approached her grandfather, who had been watching from afar. "What you did back there protecting her was incredible," he said, his eyes filled with pride. Lily smiled, but her heart still raced. It wasn't just bravery. It was a reminder of how quickly life can change, how one moment can ignite courage in us or expose our deepest fears. Suddenly, from behind them, a shadow reeled back. This time it didn't just flicker. It loomed larger, a dark figure stepping out from the streetlight's glimmer. As panic surged through the crowd again, Lily felt unease weaving through her. Who is that?" she wondered aloud, her fingers tightening around Max's collar. Something was waiting, lurking just beyond their joyful fireworks. And Lily knew. The night's secrets were far from over. Lily stood frozen, her breath hitched in her throat. The dark figure stepped forward, and she could finally see him more clearly. He wore a worn-out jacket and baseball cap that cast a shadow over his face. With the backdrop of the exploding fireworks, he felt eerily out of place. "Excuse me," he called, his voice low but urgent. "Has anyone seen my daughter?" Lily's heart lurched at the tremor in his words. Instinctively, her gaze shot back to Emma and her mother, who were still wrapped in a warm embrace. Fear mixed with concern, and she realized that this man must be a parent, just like Emma's mom. She felt the hair prickling on the back of her neck as an unsettling realization dawned on her. What if Emma hadn't been the only one lost tonight? The joyful cheers of the crowd faded away as everyone turned to look at the man. Children giggled and ran past, unaware of the gravity of the situation. But there was an undercurrent of tension in the air, it tensed like a bowstring ready to snap. "I can help," Lily called out, stepping forward. She felt Max move beside her, his loyal presence grounding her. "What does she look like?" The man's face brightened with gratitude. "She's about Emma's age, has curly blonde hair and a pink dress. We were just over by the piñata. I turned around for only a moment." "Okay, don't worry. Let us see if we can find her together," Lily assured him, her own heart racing. She quickly scanned the crowd for any flash of pink, hoping against hope. As the dark figure nodded, Emma's mom walked over, her eyes filled with concern. "We'll help too," she offered, her voice calm but urgent. In that moment, the sense of community wrapped around them like a warm blanket. Adults whirled into action while the children continued to play, unaware of the growing tension. Lily felt the shift. The earlier merriment had morphed into a collective search. "Emma, be on the lookout for a girl in a pink dress, okay?" Lily said to Emma, lowering herself to her level again. Emma nodded, her young face serious as she glanced around. Lily clutched Max's collar tighter, feeling the familiar warmth coursing through her. "Let's check by the game area," she suggested. The man and Emma's mom agreed, and they set off at a brisk walk, scanning each group, every corner. "Maybe we should call out her name," the man said, his voice steady yet laced with worry. "Good idea," Lily replied, her mind racing. "What's her name?" "Lucy," he replied. "Lucy!" Lily shouted, her voice ringing out above the crackling of fireworks. "Lucy, where are you?" They moved from group to group, calling out the name. As the sound of laughter continued to drift on the breeze, fear settled in the pit of Lily's stomach. Each minute felt like an eternity. Suddenly, the loud popping of fireworks was interrupted by a piercing shriek that cut through the air. A girl's voice shouting, "Daddy!" They turned, hearts pounding, and spotted her, an innocent silhouette emerging from behind a food truck, the pink dress glowing against the backdrop of chaos. Her wide eyes mirrored the joy and fear intertwined on that starry night. The man broke into a run. "Lucy!" he cried, collapsing to his knees as she flung herself into his arms. Relief flooded through Lily as she watched the reunion, a poetic moment against the backdrop of bursting lights. She felt tears prick at her eyes, memories of her own childhood hugs flaring to life. But alongside that sweetness, an unsettling thought curled around her heart like smoke. What else lay in the shadows tonight? As the air thickened with lingering unease, Lily turned slowly, scanning the edges of their celebratory world, determined to be ready for whatever came next. Then she felt it, a chill, a subtle shift. Behind the flickering lights, something loomed. Lily's pulse quickened as she squinted into the dark, a sense of foreboding creeping in. What if this night held more than simple joy? What if it dared to unravel something deeper, something they weren't prepared for? Lily's eyes darted across the fairgrounds, searching for that darkness that had pricked at her senses. The celebration felt dizzying now, a stark contrast to the chill creeping up her spine. While the pyrotechnics lit up the sky, a knot tightened in her gut. Something wasn't right. "Are you okay?" Max nudged her leg, his gaze following hers. She could feel the warmth radiating from him, a lifeline amidst the swirling uncertainty. "You look worried." I don't know. It feels like there's more to this night," she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. The thrill of Emma's excitement and Lucy's reunion felt distant, washed away by an unsettling tide. "Let's stay together," she said, pulling herself back to the moment. They rejoined the parents, now in close proximity to Lucy and the man, who still held her tightly. Lily smiled softly at the scene, a bubble of warmth created by their love, but her instincts continued to nag. "Did you check over by the Ferris wheel?" Emma's mom suggested, a spark of determination igniting in her eyes. "That's where we last saw her." "Yes," Lucy's father replied, brushing tears from his cheeks. "We were headed that way before." As he trailed off, the memory hanging heavy in the air, Lily felt the weight of that awareness shared among parents. They all knew how easily a child could slip away, how fast a heart could race when faced with the unthinkable. "Let us go," Lily urged, and they set off together, a united front against their fears. The laughter and chatter of children faded into a background hum, and each step felt heavier as concern sprinkled doubt over their earlier euphoria. As they neared the Ferris wheel, the music morphed into a faint echo, and fireworks whooshed overhead, shining light on the worried faces around her. A sudden shout drew their attention. A child with tear-streaked cheeks was standing alone by the base of the towering structure. "Mommy!" she cried, pointing at a couple who were clearly not her parents. Lily's heart sank. "We should check on her," she said, already moving. The little girl, no older than 5, stood trembling, a tiny figure against the spinning lights of the ride. Before they could reach her, a woman rushed forward, her arms outstretched. "Jenny!" she called out, voice thick with emotion. The girl dashed into her embrace, sobbing with relief. "I thought I lost you," the mother cried, tears streaming down her face like fireworks bursting against the night sky. Lily stopped to breathe it in, the pulsing energy of joy and pain intermingling in the air. It was a reminder, a painful tug, that every celebration carries shadows, moments of fear lurking just beneath the surface. I didn't want to be alone, the girl whispered, clinging to her mother. I know, honey. I know, her mother reassured, holding her tightly. Lily felt a pang of empathy for them, but an urgent sense of responsibility clawed at her thoughts. Why was she feeling this heaviness? As Lucy and her father exchanged soft words of love and relief behind them, Lily's focus wavered back to the shadows. Something slipped between the stalls at the edge of the fairground. Just on the cusp of vision, a flicker of movement caught her eye. Did you see that? She asked Max, pointing toward the dimness where the lights faded. He tilted his head, catching her intention. See what? Lily's heart raced again, not from fear but from something far more primal, a need to know the truth, to uncover the darkness that had begun to coil around the night. Let us check it out, she whispered, a mix of dread and determination flooding her veins. What if the shadows held answers? What if the night wasn't finished sharing its secrets? Lily turned to her companions, their faces still lit with joy, unaware of the potential storm brewing just beyond their sight. I'll be right back, she murmured and, gathering her courage, she took a cautious step toward the darkness. Something didn't add up, and with each additional step into the unknown, she could feel the weight of the night pressing down harder. What lay waiting in the shadows, and would she be ready to confront it? Lily moved cautiously, her heart pounding in sync with the fading sounds of laughter and the distant pop of fireworks. The glowing lights felt warmer behind her, but the shadows in front held an allure she couldn't resist. She felt a needle of apprehension prick her skin with every step, the urge to turn back battling with her instinct to keep going. Lily, wait. Max's voice pulled at her, but she steeled herself, plunging deeper into the dimness. She glanced back just long enough to see his face crumple with concern before she turned away. As she navigated the maze of colorful stalls, her breath came quicker. The fairground had transformed into a place that felt eerily vast, the joyous atmosphere replaced by a heavy silence that hummed under her skin. She reached the perimeter, where the lights flickered but never quite reached. Then she saw it, a figure shifting beyond the reach of the lamplight. Dark and lean, it moved with an unsettling quickness. Lily's heart raced, her instincts screaming at her to call for help. But what if it was just someone else from the fair? She took a breath and pressed on. Hello? She called, trying to sound braver than she felt. The figure paused, then turned. It was a woman, her features obscured by shadows. Lily took another cautious step forward, the tension an almost tangible thing in the air. Who are you? Lily asked, voice steady despite the unease bubbling beneath. The woman didn't answer right away. Instead, she glanced over her shoulder, half hidden by the remains of a defunct carnival game. You shouldn't be here, she finally said, her tone urgent. They'll find you. Lily's gut twisted. Who's they? As the woman shifted closer, some light caught her face, and Lily was taken aback. There was a spark of recognition. It was someone from her school, the one who had gone missing 2 years ago. Sasha? Yes, the woman's voice dropped to a whisper, and she waved Lily closer, eyes darting like a rabbit in the open. You need to leave. This place, it's not safe. Lily felt the weight of confusion settle in. What do you mean? What happened to you? Before Sasha could respond, a loud crash echoed from the direction of the fair, pulling Lily's attention away. The sounds of festivity erupted into chaos. Screams fractured the night air, followed by the thundering of footsteps. People were running, their faces painted with panic. Something was very wrong. Stay close to me. Lily urged, glancing back at Sasha, who looked pale, her eyes glimmering with fear. We can find help together. But instead of moving toward her, Sasha stepped back into the shadows. No. Don't involve me. Just go. She raised her hands, desperation etched into her features. Lily's heart dropped. Sasha, please. You can't face this alone. But Sasha shook her head vehemently. If they find us. A sudden roar of laughter echoed through the chaos, but it wasn't joyous. It was mocking. Startled, Lily spun around and gasped. Figures draped in dark cloaks, faces hidden, emerged from the edges of the fairground. Panic surged through her veins. We need to run. Come on. Sasha hesitated, her eyes darting between the approaching figures and Lily. I can't, she managed, voice strained. Don't look for me again. And with that, she slipped back into the darkness, leaving Lily alone with her rising dread. The figures advanced with an eerie calmness, surrounding the chaos of the fairground, their eyes gleaming like predators. Lily's breath quickened. She turned to sprint back the way she'd come, but the world around her erupted with movement. Heart racing with the throbbing heartbeat of fear, she felt the rush of uncertainty closing in. Would she make it back to her friends in time? As she turned a corner, a hooded figure stepped directly into her path, blocking her way. With nowhere left to run, she stood frozen, heart hammering against her chest like a warning bell. What would they want with her? The question hung heavily in the air, leaving suspense thick enough to cut. The figures loomed closer, their dark forms cloaked in mystery, casting an ominous shadow over the bright memories of the night. Lily's heart raced, she was torn between fight or flight, the warmth of her friends and family suddenly seeming so far away. Then, out of nowhere, a loud bark echoed through the chaos. Max! She shouted, a rush of relief flooding through her. In an instant, her golden retriever bounded past her, a flash of fur amongst the dark figures. With unwavering courage, Max stood defiantly before Lily, his stance firm and protective. Stay behind me, Lily. Max seemed to communicate with every muscle in his body, and it ignited something deep within her. Lily's fear battled against the realization that she wasn't truly alone. The cloaked figures paused, their eyes narrowing, confused by the fearless dog. One of them raised a hand, but Lily stepped forward. You can't hurt us. We are not afraid. Her voice trembled but held a spark of defiance. The bravado swelled within her as she watched Max sniff the air, his instincts guiding him unflinchingly. Behind her, amidst the chaos of the vanished carnival atmosphere, she could hear the distant laughter of the block party patrons unaware of the impending danger. The warmth of everything she'd felt earlier was still alive within her, a beacon of hope battling the darkness around. Suddenly, from behind the figures, Sarah and her grandfather burst onto the scene, eyes wide in disbelief. Lily! They shouted in unison, their voices a lifeline that pulled her further away from the fear creeping at her heels. Get back! Lily yelled, her protective instinct kicking in fully. She would not be a bystander in her own story. The figures turned their attention to Sarah, but Max was ready. He growled low, each guttural sound echoing with loyalty and fierce resolve. Who are you? Lily challenged, squaring her shoulders, clutching the sparkler still flickering in her hand. You can't take anyone. Not tonight. The figures exchanged glances, shifting slightly as if trying to gauge their next move. The enchanting atmosphere of the block party outside seemed to seep into the silence around them, a reminder that joy was just a heartbeat away. Let us go. Her grandfather urged, taking a brave step forward. With a smirk of mockery, one of the figures finally spoke, their voice shrouded in darkness. You think joy can save you? The weight of the question hung heavily, but Lily remembered her grandfather's words, the ones about courage and love. Yes. She shouted, clenching the sparkler tight, light glowing fiercely. Love and family are stronger than fear. The figure faltered momentarily, their confidence shaken beneath the weight of her conviction. And then, like a dam breaking, the sounds of laughter from the party cut sharply through the tension. A burst of fireworks erupted overhead, showering light across the fairground. In that instant, the mysterious figures hesitated, glancing skyward as if the colors held their power at bay. Go! Lily urged her family, watching as her grandfather scooped up Sarah. The call of family surged through her again, a tether pulling them together. "I'll find you. We can't let this go." She turned to Max, whose steady gaze held fierce solidarity. As if in answer, Max bounded forward and snapped at the figure closest to them. The movement broke the spell, and in that instant, the cloaked figures recoiled, retreating into the shadows, their power lost amidst the vibrant warmth of unity that shone bright in the night sky. "Lily!" her grandfather shouted, and she turned back to the sounds of her family rallying. They sprinted together, weaving back toward the heart of the celebration, where laughter and light warmed the air anew. As they broke past the shadows, the familiar joyful chaos wrapped around them. Lily felt the burden of fear lift as they plunged into the party, the sounds of celebratory cheers welcoming them home. "Max, you were amazing!" she exclaimed, kneeling to embrace him. His tail wagged in response, eyes twinkling with pride. "Let nothing steal our joy," her grandfather whispered, pulling Lily into a warm embrace, squeezing tight. "And remember, we're braver together," Sarah added, her voice brightening with relief. Lily studied their faces, joy painting her heart. The dance of fireworks illuminated the night, and together they watched, wrapped in the radiant love of family amid a symphony of color. "Fear can't take hold of us," she declared, beaming up at the sky, the crackling explosions echoing her sentiment. "We are stronger than anything that tries to make us afraid." In that moment, she knew, love would always light their path. As they stood together, surrounded by the vibrant joy of community, Lily embraced the night as a testament to transformations that fearlessly challenged the limits of love. Life would always have storms, but they were not alone in facing them. They would be ready, together, forever intertwined. This was their moment, and they would seize it together. Now, remember this powerful transformation and the steps we took to overcome fear with courage and love. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm. Comment your thoughts and feelings about this emotional ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, we can spread hope and strength.